So we're going to do something a little different here at Allison Miller's Low Budget Reviews. The reason why my channel is named such is because I usually review indie movies. When I started it like 5 years ago, it was supposed to be only indie horror movies. But one existential crisis after another, coming back to it, then abandoning it every 6 months or so, I have decided to maybe change the name of the channel to Allison Miller's Low Effort Reviews. And as you can tell by this one, I'm not even bothering to show my face. I used to go all out for these, but they were still trash. So I'm going to put in the bare minimum if I'm only going to get the bare minimum. But today, low budget is not in the name, because we're reviewing the third installment in the Fantastic Beasts series. And it's more going to be on J.K. Rowling's inability to come up with a villain that actually strikes fear into people's hearts, because I have always maintained that Voldemort was not scary. And I have often wondered how this weird, snake-like man with a high-pitched hissing voice ever convinced people to join him. I mean, Jim Jones, from the Jonestown Massacre, he was a very emboldened, compassionate speaker. Hitler, he was a compassionate speaker. And even though they were saying some crazy shit, they were saying it with gusto. So stupid people were like, yep, let's drink some Kool-Aid. Let's do some horrible acts. But J.K. Rowling's characters, Grindelwald and Voldemort, don't scare me. So let's get into it. There's 3 disclaimers I want to throw out. I have not seen the first 2 Fantastic Beasts movies. I got Crimes of Grindelwald from the library yesterday. Maybe I'll review it, maybe I won't. I already know about the whole trauma surrounding Johnny Depp and everything. How could I not know? And I already know about the whole trauma surrounding J.K. Rowling's tweets, which we will not be discussing in this video today at all. There are plenty of more qualified women and men and non-binaries on this website that would offer up their opinion on that. And thirdly, there's going to be spoilers, but at the same time, what's there to spoil? This movie kind of just happened, and things happened. So, let's get to it. We open to Newt Scamander, played by Eddie Redmayne, of course, in a forest somewhere, and there's some weird animal that looks like a fox-tailed deer. A spotted white deer. What are words? What are animals? And it's pregnant. But it kind of looks like a spotted deer with, lizard features and a Fu Manchu. Oh boy. It's a cute little animal, and it makes cute little animal noises. And then here comes some tall, confident, beautiful wizard bitches, and they're gonna take the little lizard guy, the lizard deer, I think it was called a chillin', away from Newt Scamander. And there's a bunch of green light and everything, and these wizard bitches have the aim of stormtroopers. Newt gets away, and then him and his tree plant guy and his little coat platypus. I'm sure they're cute in the previous films, but in this one they were just kind of there. Honestly, Newt feels like kind of just there in his own series. It's supposed to be Fantastic Beasts, but honestly, from what I've seen from other people's reviews, this is probably the one edition that actually has the beasts part of the plot. So, 1 point for J.K. Rowling, I guess. But, surprise, surprise, there's another Chillin. And the mother Chillin died. So this weird, long-tailed, winged beast looks like a dodo bird at first, goes out and puffs itself up to a big balloon, and then suddenly it has wings, and it looks more like a wyvern than it does a dodo bird. And then Newt is delivered safely with his 2 pets and his new Chillin to London. And then we cut to the only reason anyone would watch this movie, Jacob, played by Dan Fogler. And Jacob is there commiserating over the loss of his beautiful Queenie and how she went off to the wizard Nazi side in the last movie. And his bakery is not doing well. And then in comes this very tall black woman, and I don't really know how to pronounce her character's name. Let me Google that. Her name is Yuli Hicks. And this actress was doing her best, but I'm not sure if she was supposed to be British or not, because sometimes she would sound British, kind of like she was trying to do a northern accent, and then other times she kind of sounded like she gave up about halfway through. That's the thing, though. In this movie, a lot of people are wandering around like they're just bored and they're not having a good time. One critique I would give of Eddie Redmayne's performance is that he talked like his top lip was glued to his teeth. And I didn't really like his accent in it. I don't know. It was a weird choice. I don't know if it was Eddie choice or in one of the directors or something, but oh boy. So anyway, she shows up and she gets Jacob to come in because, wizards are going to come and attack him, and now they're all on a train and they've got to stop Grindelwald, and there's a magic little deer lizard thing. It's all fun. And Newt Scamander has a brother, and then there's Buddy, his assistant. She's kind of barely used in this movie. But in this movie's defense, it didn't have a lot of stupid crap in it. Like there was this one scene where Newt's brother gets arrested because they go to a big fancy ball, and then Jacob has this fake wand and everything, and he just wants to talk to Queenie. And so he takes his wand out, and then somehow the woman, Yuli, thinks it's a good idea to make it seem like he's doing magic. And then it's a race against time where they have to climb on book stairs to touch each other to get away from the horrible thing. I honestly don't really understand what they were going for. I know that once Grindelwald was released from prison, he was able to run as President Wizard or something, which makes literally no sense. Which brings me to my main complaint. Mads Mikkelsen did a good job in this movie. I have never been a Johnny Depp fan because I think somewhere around 2000 or 2004, Johnny Depp decided to rely heavily on makeup and ridiculousness and playing the same character with the same tired British accent over and over again. And I think a lot of e-girls and little weird tee-hee not like other girls just kept spending money time and time again, and he got away with it for years and years. Mads Mikkelsen, I think I would follow him over Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp just looked creepy in the previous one. And he's out here doing the performance Depp couldn't with no makeup. I think I would follow Mads Mikkelsen, but I don't think I would follow Grindelwald. The character has been so inconsistent throughout the last 3 movies. Like, it didn't have to be Johnny Depp. It really didn't have to be. It could have been. It could have stayed Colin Farrell. But alas, that is not what happened. So the plot of this is that at one time, Dumbledore and Grindelwald were madly in love. And now Dumbledore and Grindelwald can't fight each other because of some magic charm they created in the previous movie. So they need Newt and all the other people to help. And this movie felt weird because in one of the scenes in Hogwarts, there was hardly any kids. Like, I remember in certain scenes in the Harry Potter movies, when they wanted to create a sort of quiet, sit at the tables and study kind of thing, they only had Harry and his friends. But many of the other times, like at lunch, because Jake was eating and showing off his wand at this time, there was hardly any kids. There was like no magic at all. And we have Dumbledore's brother Aberforth. And here's a spoiler. He is apparently Credence's father. And here's another spoiler. The Chillin, the little deer lizard thing, is supposed to decide who is pure in heart. So the one that the evil bitch wizards at the beginning took, Grindelwald took it, killed it, spilled its blood everywhere, and then in some weird water ceremony or whatever, he created a zombie Chillin that so he could rig the system and everything. And I'm just curious what's drawing these people to this character. Because J.K. Rowling just created Wizard Hitler with Voldemort and then created Wizard Hitler with Grindelwald. I am not believing her for 1 second that she had this all thought up in her head. Okay? There's a lot of ideas that we as writers have all thought up in our heads way before, but there's a lot of reasons why we don't write them down. And this was something that she probably shouldn't have written down. There were some good moments of this movie. There was a thing where there was the good living chillin' in a case, and it was one of those old from like an old movie where there's 4 or 5 identical cases and the one case has the magic thing in it or the MacGuffin that gets the plot going. And that scene was interesting. I kind of feel like the only one that wanted to be there actor-wise was Dan Fogler. I think he's the only one that wants to be there. He's the only American character, and he's the only one that isn't like 5'11" or taller. I don't know, but that was a thing that I noticed. Was, damn, everybody in this film is so freaking tall. The bitch wizards are tall, Scamander is tall, Dumbledore is tall, Yuli, I actually think her name's Eulalie. Mrs. Hicks is tall, and the only people who aren't tall are Jacob and Queenie. Oh, and Buddy. But then they get to the magical Swiss village where Grindelwald's supposed to be going to have his rigged election. And they've got the fake Chillin, and then they've got the real Chillin. And this evil bitch wizard, who, she doesn't have any lines throughout the entire thing. These characters are a lot like the women on that old movie from 1999, Wild Wild West. They're like those women characters. They're meant to be tall and pretty and walk around like they own the place and do bad things. So this woman makes Scamander think that the Chillin has died. But reality is, Buddy had the real Chillin the whole time. And I wish this race against time were more exciting. But I was just sitting there like, I know they're going to get there in time. I know that this scene is lacking in emotional impact. The entire franchise is lacking in emotional impact. And yes, the author has killed it. I will say that. J.K. Rowling was killing her franchise long before she was, stating unpopular opinions about what other people do to their bodies. But I wasn't thrilled. I was just sort of bored the entire time watching it, and I think most of the actors were too. I think Dan was the only actor who was there to be acting. Credence, Ezra Miller, he just looked like he couldn't wait to get out and go punch someone over karaoke. Grindelwald, Mads Mikkelsen, looked like he was having a good time. But everybody else just looked bored. So in the end, the real Chillin comes out, and there's a funny ha-ha moment where you think this Chillin is gonna pick Jacob because of an interaction and I don't know, where Hogwarts was, where I guess the teachers used to live in their little Hogsmeade? I think that's the place. It's been a long time since I've read and delved into Harry Potter, but whatever. So anyway, they're out there at Hogsmeade. Aberforth makes them some disgusting, it has poop soup looking stuff, but it's actually pretty good, and they allude to this Chillin choosing Jacob to do the Wizarding World thing. And I would have thought that would have been cool. A Muggle leading a Wizarding World? That would have been awesome. However, the Chillin, even though it's been around Dumbledore, I believe, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was, goes over and bows at Dumbledore. And then he says, I'm flattered, but please pick somebody else. I mean, could you imagine the timeline if Dumbledore had been the wizard, president? Maybe we wouldn't have had, frickin' Wizard Hitler Part 2. But, yeah, that's my review. As jumbled as it was, and I'm sorry for coughing in your ear, I thought I stopped that. What would I rate it? I don't know. Because ultimately my problem with it was people were bored. The story was kind of just there and it was flatline. The action was interesting. The set pieces were pretty. But ultimately I didn't give a crap about what any of these characters were going through. At all. And I guess I'd rate it a 2 out of 5. Now, normally you do the little, hey, you made a movie, so here's a star just for making a movie. But since this is a big budget, giant name with Warner Brothers, I'm going to rate it 1 star for Jacob and 2 stars for not being convoluted. So that's a 2 out of 5. The performances were kind of bland. Like I said, everybody looked bored. The dialogue was okay. I chuckled at a few parts. But ultimately, the story was just kind of there. I knew they were going to make it and they were going to save the day. And I knew that Mads Mikkelsen, Grindelwald, was going to get away. And one thing that I did like was the slow-mo scene where Credence is going to stop Grindelwald and try and stop him right after the fake Chillin has made his declaration and then they cleared that all up. Credence is going to stop Grindelwald, but Grindelwald is like, I'm gonna Avada Kedavra your ass, and then Dumbledore and Aberforth put up this wall of protection, and because of one tiny loophole where he wasn't intending, his intentions weren't to hurt Grindelwald, but to save Credence. So therefore, now it's all going to be hunky-dory. Oh boy. J.K. Rowling, is the queen of plot convenience, and you will not convince me otherwise. But it looks like she had help with this one, because it looks like somebody else wrote with her. Someone was probably like, hey, yo, have you read the reviews on Crimes of Grindelwald? And she's like, no, I don't read reviews. Yeah, you probably should. Oh boy, when she's left to her own devices, we get terrible things like the casual vacancy. But I would rather watch all. If it's down between, if my eternal punishment in hell is watch Crimes of Grindelwald on a loop forever and ever and ever, or read one chapter of The Casual Vacancy every day, just read it in its entirety, actually, every day. If somehow I end up in hell and that's my punishment, I'm going to watch Grindelwald over and over again because I hate The Casual Vacancy. And that is one thing that has caused me great tension between me and my friends, me and strangers, is that I don't think J.K. Rowling really fleshes out her characters. Even Harry Potter, the only thing that was really interesting about him was that he was the boy who lived. Well, anyway, I hope you enjoyed this review, and have a good day.